ahead and call this meeting to order. If you would, please all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Mr. Streeter.
If you'll bow your heads with me, dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for this beautiful day, for us to recover from all of the storms of late. Thank you for protecting our county. Thank you for guiding us here safely. Please watch over us and fill us with your wisdom. We need you and believe in you. Amen.
Please let the record show all three commissioners are present today, along with Counsel Drew Porter and, of course, the Auditor's Office, as always. I would like on the agenda to add J, Community Corrections Update. Does anyone have anything other than that?
I do not.
None hearing. I make a motion to approve as amended.
I second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Review of the minutes. Everyone had an opportunity to review the minutes from August the 4th.
Make a motion to approve the minutes.
Motion is made. I'll second the motion. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. I do not believe we have any appointments at this point in time. So we'll just jump right into new business, and that's YMCA Van Go. And we are so fortunate to have, yes, hit the green button for us.
Dennis Cordes and Rebecca Penny from the YMCA Van Go. Rebecca, she's going to give you some numbers.
Yeah, I'll give you some numbers.
And Dennis, if you would, talk into the mic. Apparently we have a really hard time, according to the Auditor's Office, of hearing
Yes, sir.
in the YouTube world.
Right.
And we want to make sure the YouTubers are happy.
Okay. We're doing really well, actually. For currently on Van Go, we're doing like 270 to 280 trips a day. And then on the trolley, we're doing about 170 to 180 boardings a day. But actually, our highest day was 222 ride boardings in one day. But for the county side of it, I'm going to talk about is we have completed about 19,304 trips within Knox County. That's not including the city of 2025. The total for the whole for 2025 is 57,000 trips and 601 we completed. And that
Just out of curiosity, do you have that broke down to Bicknell?
yes, I do.
Okay.
Bicknell actually had 5,257 trips in Bicknell
Okay.
in 2025.
That didn't include county, correct?
No, that's just in
Okay.
Bicknell
Okay.
address. And I actually have it broke down more. If you, I can share it with you guys if you want after.
Yeah, I'm used to looking at it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so far in the whole county, we've completed about 12,838 county trips in 2026, which that's actually 67% of all the county trips we completed during 2025. So we're going to probably pass that number up this year. But behind all those numbers is actually what we like to think about is the person that we're actually helping. We take them to doctor's appointments, going to work, the grocery store, dialysis. It just helps maintain their independence in the community. And the cost actually of providing a trip, we only charge $6 to cover their fare out in the county, $3 inside the city limits. But actually to do the whole trip in Oaktown, actually if we take a bus all the way to Oaktown, it costs us $33.43 to actually operate that bus. But the rider only pays $6. And to Decker, it costs us about $24.02 to provide. And Sanborn is $56.07 to provide that trip to go to Sanborn. And we do go to Sanborn. Our numbers, I looked, it wasn't really many. I think this year we've only done 2 so far, but we're trying to get out there further for everyone. And we do operate off of 5311 funding, which they cover 50% of our operating cost of everything. So that's why we have to come up with match money. Right now, our upcoming budget, we are approximately $2 million is what we're going to be operating off of. But that's including not just the 5311, that's including the 5339, which is also the 2 buses that we're including. We're going to get 2 new ones. We're just trying to maintain the fleet, and since our highest expenses are employee wages and benefits, the fuel, vehicle maintenance, insurance, and that's pretty much of our fuel, of course, continues to increase, and our older vehicles require more maintenance on them, so we're trying to get them replaced. Let's see. Looking towards the future, what we would like to actually see happen is we would like to, of course, see more routes added in the city. We want another route in the city, but we also was thinking about the county route. We would like to be able to go further out in the county and then connect to the city. We're thinking about factories, major employment centers out there, the work release. I don't think
You
there's
know, Chris
really-
Paff's in the room. Have you had these conversations with him about workforce, transportation, just the thought in the future?
Right.
Because we do have kind of that on our radar at KCID
Mm-hmm.
on future plans.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's our future plans, is we want to eventually increase more and have more routes and help more people out in the county. So do you have anything to add?
The big thing for,
Yeah, you got it.
the big thing for me was getting more funding so we can upgrade the fleet. Sort of, we're kind of in a situation with some of these E450 buses. They are not, you know, the easiest thing to maintain to begin with. But they were getting, you know, 250, 300,000 miles on them. We were spending $100,000, $150,000 on maintenance in these things. So they were killing us on that. So now with upgrading, getting 3 additional vehicles this year,
We actually got 5.
5, but we were planning on getting 2. Now we got 3 extra ones. So we can keep that mileage under 200,000 and hopefully drop those maintenance costs. And, you know, she mentioned briefly fuel. Fuel, of course, we all feel that at a pump. I don't know if you've ever tried to insure buses for public transportation, but I mean, we've actually come in jeopardy a couple of times, you know, with the insurance company of not wanting to renew us because of the increased risk. So the new buses are also going to have a lot of cameras and things to protect the riders, but I kind of mentioned it earlier, you know,
Thank you.
when you think about the person, the end user, I can't say their name, but we had somebody who was already missing both their legs from the knee down and was looking at losing her arm, and she was really panicked. And she couldn't figure out a way to get to Indianapolis to save her arm when she was already in such a bad situation. And Daniel, who handles some of that scheduling and things, talked her through that. What's somebody's arm worth? You know, I realize that, you know, this is not, you know, a great moneymaker, but you want to talk about something that really drastically changes someone's life. The hospital's already noted, you know, a lot fewer missed appointments to the Samaritan Center, to prenatal appointments, to just general physicians. So people's health and well-being throughout the county, you know, in a lot of outlying areas. Can you imagine living far away from, you know, say Sanborn or Bicknell, and you need to get to a doctor's appointment, you don't have a car and you don't know anybody with a car? Well, I won't go to that appointment. You know, it's life-saving and life-changing. So, you know, I appreciate the support the county and the commissioners have given us in the past, hopefully in the future.
And you know, it's not just the medical, it's day-to-day life. It's going to the grocery store. It's
Yeah.
going whatever.
Yeah.
And those are the stories behind Van Go and the system itself.
And I've talked to some of the other trustees, and there's a little bit of money in each trustee's budget for transportation, so.
That's
I
an
know
excellent idea.
Yeah, so the Vincennes trustee's office, if somebody says, I don't have the $6,
We've used it before.
yeah, so that office will cover some of those costs too.
Right.
And you know, nobody that needs to get somewhere is not gonna get there, not as long as Rebecca and I are around. So we're gonna find a way to get them to an appointment, or get them to the grocery store, I mean, or prenatal, I know I've said that a couple of times. It's pretty heartbreaking when you see a young mother who's struggling and she can't go and just, you know, get that simple, that what we all take for granted in our lives, that simple care. So, yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Well, before you leave, the county has supported Van Go for as long as I've been around, and many years prior. And as you know, for years, we owned all the vehicles and worked together, and it's just grown into something exceptional that I think we could make better. I think the partnerships with the hospital have been very, well, they were expected from the hospital to you guys, but it's been great. So thank you for being a good partner.
Some of those charges, before we started doing Saturday transportation for them, I don't know how some people look in the mirror when they charge, a couple $100 to take somebody 2 blocks. I mean,
Yeah, well, that's how we got in a mess with Medicaid.
Yeah.
But saying that, traditional budgeting in the county, we always include in commissioners' planning for our economic development income tax dollars. So we have continued to do that, and I must still point out, we do budget twice what the city does, which I wish they would fund more
They did up theirs. Their thing was 100,000.
this year, because they weren't. Okay, that is good to
Yep.
hear.
And they fully funded the trolleys,
Well, it's good.
Yep.
Um,
which will
So,
be here soon.
so looking at our budgeting, I see where, I didn't see where you had submitted a request. I'm assuming this number came from you or from
It's a
him?
conversation between Dennis and I.
Yeah. I did submit that number again, the same as we did last year, but basically
Okay,
what I said.
124,000.
Correct.
So more.
Yeah, no more. Well,
Nope.
I actually asked for 125, but
Okay.
Actually, I think you asked for
No,
225.
last year they budgeted 100 last year, and then we gave more towards a new vehicle. So.
and again, that's to the end of replacing the vehicles
Okay.
more frequently. So it's pound wise and a penny foolish not to try and maintain these things out to 350,000 miles. They just eat you alive, so.
Okay.
Never buy one when we sell them. I'll just leave it at that. They've been cannibalized by the time.
We do
we're
the
done
same
with
thing
it.
with ambulances, so.
Yeah. They might be the general shape of a bus. There's not much left of them, so.
Great. Thank you, guys. We appreciate
you.
it. Thank you. B, ordinance number 2026-9, and this is for conversation only. Drew, what's going on with 2026-9?
We received the transmittal notice from Knox County Area Plan after its public hearing on the matter, and it received an unfavorable recommendation, 7-1. The unfavorable recommendation, we need to take action within 90 days, otherwise it's deemed not passed. If we do want to take up and vote on it, we have to publish a specialized notice before we do that. And that, if you want to hold a vote and a meeting on it on September 1st, I can get the notice in time.
Tim, thoughts? Kelly, thoughts?
Well, I mean, I've read the transmittal notice. I also had a direct meeting to better educate myself as to why the unfavorable. Discussed with Colt, Chris Paff, and Phil Reinbrecht, the builder, to figure out really from Colt what the primary issue was, and found that 11 of the individual lots didn't meet the required lot size, the minimum required. So talking with the developer, is there anyone here with Reinbrecht? I don't know everyone.
Those two
Okay.
gentlemen here.
Okay, Morley's here, not Reinbrecht. Okay. My question was, Colt says the primary unfavorable was due to the lot size. And I see in the discussion here, most of it was about the lot size. So the option would be they could go to the plat approval process. But if they reduce the number of homes to fit the minimum lot size, that is an option too. So I questioned the developer if that was an option. He said it might be, but the ball's in their court. I don't know what the plan is for the developer, but I think there's some remedy here in the law if there is a reduction to meet our guidance. But state your name.
Jim
Hi.
Worley Jr., project engineer. So this is on the zoning side from the land use standpoint, but as shortly after, if the zoning is approved, shortly after that, it'll go to plan commission
Correct.
from a
So-
planning standpoint.
Correct.
And so we've looked at some different scenarios to modify lots and such like that, to either come into full compliance or closer to compliance and seek a waiver. there's a way to be in full compliance if that's what needs to happen for the project to be approved.
So, are you reducing? Is there been a decision made? I didn't catch that.
So we've come up with a revised plan that
Okay.
does have fewer lots on it.
Okay,
But we've talked with Colt some, and we're working
Sure.
through that.
Okay.
So,
well, that answers my question. Depending upon what the petitioner's action was going to be next, was going to be my answer to us, is if they meet the planning commission's minimum lot size for what they're requesting it be zoned, there should be no issue.
Right, so I too had a conversation, we met on a Teams call with Morley representatives, Colt, Chris Boff, and myself right after the meeting. And the same basic information that it was mostly the plat issues that they had with this particular zoning, whereas the ordinance that was written or sent to them was only about if it should be going to a residential or not. The plat is a totally separate situation altogether. So it is. And so I personally would like to have that notice sent and have this on our agenda for the September 1st meeting to vote on this. Because as I said, I feel as though this should have only been whether or not it meets rezoning. Chris?
I didn't know if now was the appropriate time or after during public comments, but I just wanted to add a couple of things. if I may.
You're involved in this business matter,
Okay.
so go right ahead.
And I shared some information with all of you earlier today in your inbox, but I just want to, and we started our annual meeting this year by talking about the gradual yet very, I think, disturbing trend of population loss in Knox County since 1980. In 1980, we had over 42,000 residents in this county, and today we are just over 35. We have lost 5% population every decade for 50 years. And I know all of us have had this conversation together. If we don't do something differently, and that includes building more housing options for both existing and future residents, we're gonna continue that slide of 5% loss. And eventually, it's going to become very difficult for all of us, our institutions, the university, the hospital. Already, I hear from all of our major employers that talent attraction is the #1 issue that we could be helping them with. And so housing plays a key strategy into all of that. And I understand there are reasons why we have ordinance that say lot sizes need to be a certain size. And that's for the APC and the developer to work out. I cannot be here on September 1st, so I just wanted to come and offer these comments because I'll be out of town in 2 weeks. But I would just highly encourage you to consider favorably this rezoning because I think, and again, we published our housing study a few years ago. It's very specific on the fact that if we want to grow this population, we have got to be building, and we are already behind the power curve. The year that we did that study, we demolished more homes than we were building. There were more permits pulled for demolitions that year than there were new housing options for us. So again, I don't want to be redundant, but I would just offer both my own personal and on behalf of KCIED, housing is a key strategy. We're in the middle of a strategic planning process right now for the entire county. And one of our goals would be to form a housing task force. A lot of things happen in Vincennes, but I'd like to see us consider what's happening in Bicknell and Edwardsport and Wheatland, and really put some resources behind that. Because if we keep doing the same thing that we've been doing the last 50 years, we will eventually become irrelevant. And so I take this issue very seriously, and again, would just encourage a positive response in 2 weeks when you vote on this.
I've said many times, Knox County actually has fewer people today than we did in 1920.
Yeah.
Well, let me be clear. Yes, it was an unfavorable recommendation for the rezoning on the basis of this being the primary issue of the plat. So I would hope that would remedy it, especially if we're willing to hear it again, which I am. So please, I second advertisement if so needed.
Do you need a formal vote to do that? Okay.
I mean, it's helpful.
Okay, I made the motion, Commissioner Streeter seconded, so any further comment?
I have none.
If none, then I will call for the vote. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All in favor, none opposed, motion carries 3-0.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks.
Yep. Do you plan on going back to area plan when?
If it gets a favorable vote on the morning of the first, then we would be. at
Then you'll
planning
do it on
commission
the ninth.
Evening of the first.
Okay, great. All right, thank you. Ordinance 2026-7, rezoning of 7144 North Russell Drive in Bicknell, Indiana, from C3 to R1. This is on second reading.
Hey, hold on. I just want to make one more comment
Yes.
about the previous as well. And just to be clear, it's a rezoning from industrial to residential. I mean, we're not building data centers. We're building houses.
Yeah.
So it's a huge difference from our industrial designation to residential.
Okay. Drew, 2026-7.
This is, we received the transmittal notice back from Knox County Area Plan on this, and they approved a favorable recommendation for this ordinance. We did first reading, at our last meeting, which was referred. This one's up for vote, if desired for tonight. If no action is taken within 90 days, it's automatically approved.
Okay. I'd make a motion to approve on second and third the rezoning of 2026-7, 7144 North Russell Drive in Bicknell, Indiana, from C3 to R1. Do I have a second?
I second.
Okay. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 3-0. Continuing with rezoning, ordinance number 2026-8, rezoning of 2687 South Old Decker Road from I-2 to R2, second and third.
Again, have the transmittal notice from Area Plan Commission. This one also has a favorable recommendation, able to be voted upon tonight for second and third reading.
Okay, make a motion to approve ordinance number 2026-8, rezoning of 2687 South Old Decker Road. Do I have a second?
I will second. We do have the owners here if they want to make any comment. Hi, Larry. If you'll state your name for the minutes.
Do
If you'll state your name for the minutes.
Larry Cardinal, and my wife is here, Lori, and my son Zach, and we just appreciate the support to get the rezoning. And we plan on this fall building 12 duplexes, 24 apartments. And it was stated they didn't know that there is plenty of utilities out there. Everything's the electric, water, sewage, it's all there.
Okay,
So, okay.
great.
Thank you for adding housing. Hopefully we can elsewhere as well.
Okay, so there's a first and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 3-0. Law enforcement agreement with Knox County Park and Rec Department. Is there anybody from the
Was this
sheriff?
not executed at the last meeting?
Well, I thought it was, but,
Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
It's single signature, but
Yeah,
I'm pretty
I thought
sure
it was,
if you
but-
look in our minutes, it may be in there.
but just in case, all in favor signify, I make a motion to approve it.
I second.
Okay, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries again 3-0.
No, it wasn't on last meeting.
I thought it was. Okay, Knox County Commissioner 2027 budget.
I sent to you what my amendments, I'm requesting be considered. One, I have, let me get it here, I was signing document. I just questioned Dennis about, so are any of them going to be considered?
I'll consider all of them.
Well, I,
What-
s-
what-
I sent them to you.
Yeah.
all-
You want to go line by line, or what do you want to do?
Well, are you going to agree to the amendment, or do we need to go line by line?
I'm not going to agree to all of them, personally.
Okay, okay, well, so that's the council budget. So just in the general fund, is there a question about my amendments there?
Why would you take professional services fee back down to 5,000?
We have no professional services on, contract. We have no professional, we have an attorney, we have accounting services that the county pays, council pays for. We have no plan for, so, I mean, we're not needing it. And we need to reduce our general fund.
Okay. So far, actual, I would, I'm good with 5.
We did happen to use most of that up when we looked at the jail.
Yeah.
So, and then we're gonna be, building.
Not according to the auditor's reports. We
Yeah,
didn't.
I'm good with 5. And then if we need additional for, well, the others would come out of the other budget, but yeah, I'm good with 5. So we'll make that move to go to 5. Okay, second page of general fund, you wanted to remove all of KCARC.
Well, we have no, just like Van Gogh, I didn't have official requests. What's it for? What do they need it for?
So we make a yearly donation to them, in the sum of $25,000. However, 2 years ago, they did not receive. So this was the one-time catch up to 50.
I mean, again, I've taken the stance for many years that, especially out of property tax dollars, we don't have an agreement in place, and we can fund projects, but we need requests and possibly another line. So I don't agree granting money out of the general fund without agreements, contracts, and/or official requests.
I think that, I'm wearing my council hat right now, not commissioner, so I think that KCRC, because the council brings it up every budget hearing, and please correct me if I'm wrong, there is, it occurs outside the levy because it's a community, community resource center for disabled persons, similar to the mental health. It's not required by
Well, that's in the
statute.
state law, yeah.
Yeah, it's not, I know,
Right.
it's not
Okay.
required, it's a may, not a must, but it has no impact on property taxes, and every year it comes up at budget hearings, and I give that
Well,
speech. Just-
so
I
if it's
figured I'd get it
outside the
now.
levy, that's fine. It would just still be nice that we ratify how these donations are made through written form. So that's just my opinion.
Okay.
If it not be changed, then, you know, I make a motion that we amend KCRC's request in the general fund to 0, and we entertain an agreement with them for what has been stated for their services. And then we're not going back and forth every year about why, who, when.
Okay, so there's a motion on the floor to line item out KCARC donation from the county. Is there a second? None hearing, motion does not carry. Courthouse security. I agree with you on this one, the $2,000. So we have I want to say $20,000 in
Public safety lit.
yeah, public safety lit for courthouse security, and that's usually where the money comes out of. So I will concur to take the $2,000 out of that and remove that to a line item of 0. So I'll make the motion to take that out if you'll second it.
Sure, we didn't vote on the prior, so if you just want to amend
Okay,
it.
that's fine.
amend it.
Yeah, I'm
We
good.
agree, so
Yeah,
there's
I'm
no
good with
reason
that.
to vote.
Are you good with that?
That's fine.
Okay.
The only other thing I had a question about was your, the health insurance, does this need to be amended? And does-
Oh, yeah. So we're gonna do something a little bit different with health insurance, and I believe, I've spoken to you, and I believe, our insurance folks have talked to you. Instead of the departments all, instead of it being a department by department by department, we're gonna lump it into one, department. It's under us, and then the council will then appropriate those funds over into the appropriate fund, and I don't remember what the fund is. 4,700. So we need to actually move that up to a $4.2 million, is what we've been told we'll need to have in that budget. So, what's happened over time is it's kind of gotten off. We need to reset that and bring that back into under house, so we can better control those and, have those dollars going out to the correct locations moving forward. So I'd make that motion to raise that health insurance to 4.2 million. Any objections to that?
I second.
Okay. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. What else you have, Kelly?
Edit.
Edit, okay.
I believe we need to, we can debate your intent of covering families' insurance, but we just put 4.2 million in for our health insurance, which was on top of a pretty big raise. 250,000 is plugging a temporary hole. I don't think we need to use edit money to give a reduction when we're seething elsewhere.
So that 4.2 is all of the departments going into one budget instead of spacing them out. So we're spending it regardless, so it's not an additional.
Well, we are short, and we have been short, and, so anyways, we can hash that out separately, but we are up a significant amount.
Okay.
Before what you're talking about.
Yeah, I want to leave that money in there. Again, that is a goal to get the family plan down. It costs $525 a paycheck for a family plan. There's a reason that the county, out of 223, 24 employees, we only have 4 employees on the family plan. It's just, it's cost prohibited.
I don't disagree. I have insurance myself. However, aside from my feelings and my knowledge of common sense, we cannot sustain it as our tax revenues. So anyway, we fundamentally disagree.
Okay.
So I believe it should be cut. Tim, do you agree or disagree? I make a motion to cut the employee insurance supplement out of our economic development income tax share. Make that 0.
Okay, there's a motion on the floor. Is there a second? Okay, motion does not carry. Invasive species, I took that down to 5 only because this is the first year, other than the initial year when they bought the equipment, that they've been over 5,000, or over 2,500 actually. And so I took it down to the 5. I believe in their mission. I like their mission a lot, but if they're not gonna use more than $5,000, that's why I took it down to 5.
Okay, back to my original question. I've circled these entities, Van Go, Soil and Water, KCID, Pantheon. Have we talked to them about their plans and their requests for the next year?
We did not receive a request from them, no.
Did you talk to them?
Nope.
Okay. Chamber of Commerce, is that up 20 because of the gift cards? Okay. So, I don't agree with your methodology of cutting them because of what's on paper here. Mr. Hinkle's in the audience. I would call upon him. Troy? You're here obviously to representative of Soil and Water in this program.
Yeah, Troy Hinkle, Soil and Water Conservation District. So I think you was it last month or the month before, Ben was here with us and we gave a report
Yeah.
on all the activities we've done this year. And so part of the problem we had last year was in using that money, we were gonna use it for a contractor to do some clearing out at the county parks. And we were not able to get that, under contract before the year ended, so we lost that year. We did, however, get it done this summer, or we got started on it this summer. We were able to use the funds, and I think we have one more, claim that's gonna come in probably next month, and it'll be for most of the balance of what we have. And so we've spent, I think, $12,000 of this money, clearing invasives at the park, and then, so I'm gonna add something on top of this. In addition to, in addition to the money that you spend, it's like a lot of things, you know, if you start with something, you can get something more in our world. And so we have this $20,000, and we've used it to do a lot of clearing there. We've done a lot of right-of-way work on the county roads, cleared a lot of pear trees and other things. So since we have this program and you've provided us with this funding, now we're able to go out to other places and ask for funding. So not only did the Soil and Water Conservation District kick in another $5,000 for some additional interns through the rest of this year so that we could continue the work that we started specifically at the parks. But the Parks Department also put some money on the table to do that as well. Then we went to Fish and Wildlife, and they gave us $5,000 for seed for planting natives out there. We're working on a DNR urban forestry grant that will include some of this stuff. We have a Clean Water Indiana grant that we're gonna apply for next year, that this would be matched for, that we could say, we're doing these things already, would you give us some money to do some additional things? So it's not just the work that gets done here in Knox County with the money that you provide, it's the money that we can bring in from outside of Knox County to do additional work. And it's not just all buying Roundup, right? We've hired 6 interns this year, so this is employment. We've made some great progress at the park doing some clearing. That's gonna be a much nicer place to visit out there. We're doing similar work at all 4 county parks, working also with street department and others. So I'm getting a little long-winded here, but all that to say, the money is being used. It will continue to be used, and it will also serve as a seed for additional monies that we can bring in the Knox County from outside to continue this work.
So this was the first year you guys spent more than 2,500,
Well,
except for the initial
The initial
year.
year, yeah, and last year we had plans to, and as I said, we weren't able to iron it out with the contractor in time, and so that money went back into county general.
So what are you thinking you're gonna spend then?
If we had $20,000, we could use it next year. If you continue that in your budget, we would use that. We'll do some more clearing work. We can use some more interns. We can expand our right-of-way project. So yeah, the money can be used.
Okay.
And
And not on outerwear? That was, I believe, one of the,
outerwear.
I believe somebody bought some clothes.
Oh, I'm sure they had to buy some high-vis shirts because they're working alongside the road, so they may have spent a couple $100 on T-shirts, but that would have been a very small amount of the money they spent. But yes, clothing is part of it, but it's a very small piece of it.
Okay. Tim, man of many words?
What? So if something came up, can't you just go to the council and ask for additional appropriations, is that correct? If something comes up in budget, like, we don't have to. Let's just say we cut out, and like I said, I'm all new to this, kinda new to me, cause I don't understand why some of the stuff's in our budget and some's not, but like, say we just did the $5,000 and something came up where they needed an additional appropriation of $2,000, couldn't they just go to the council and request that?
Yes, but I'm kind of a firm believer in budgeting what you need and not going back and forth and asking.
Well,
Council
that's
doesn't really
prescribed by
care.
law. The DLGF prescribes. I mean, additional appropriations do not have to be approved by the state of Indiana.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean?
Yes, but
You all can explain that. You handle these for us.
yeah,
This whole budget process is to establish the 2027 budget, which then establishes the tax rates partnered with the AV. So anytime we go outside of that budget, it is very much frowned upon.
That's why I said yes, but you really want to set your budget the way it should be set. I'll tell you what, because I do, you guys have done a good job on the highway, roadways. I would like to see more of the roadways. Love my parks, don't get me wrong. I've got money in here for the park. And I know that's gonna be a conversation. I'd love to see more of the roadway though, especially with some of the Johnson grass that we have growing in some of our county areas.
Yeah, and that's, Johnson grass is one thing we don't do a lot of just because there is so much.
Yeah.
That's not to say that we couldn't, but it is very prevalent, and that would be a large expansion of the spraying program if you wanted, if you would like for us to address the Johnson grass, and we
Yeah.
can do that. We can't do it with a $5,000 budget.
Yeah, I'll agree to Kelly's 20 request on that. Would really love to see more Johnson
Okay,
grass
we
getting
can
cut
work
out
on that
there.
next summer, yeah.
Yeah, that's a big thing for us, just trying to get these roadways looking
Agreed,
better.
yeah. As a
Love my
farmer, it's a big
parks, don't
thing.
get me wrong, but I'd really like to see that focus going to the roadways.
Sure.
Okay?
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you. Van Go, you want to drop Van Go $24,000 to 100.
Well, that's what was appropriated last year, and again, I didn't have, I didn't know what the extra was for. You know, he stated that's what they needed, so
Okay.
I assume that is what they need.
Okay, so I also had in here $75,000 for park equipment, and you have it lined item out at 0. The reason I put it in there is I did have a great conversation with the park department, Tim Goodwin, a few weeks ago, and they have a lot of really great ideas and things that they really would like to do. Obviously, money is an issue in getting additional equipment, getting some new playground equipment out there, as well as some other things. That's why I put 75,000 in there.
Well, as normal, I would call the department head myself, like I have all the others, and ask what the plan is, and there isn't a plan. Yes, Tim didn't know there was a request in this budget. He had asked a board member to try and see what he could get. So with no plan, no specific plan, I don't understand why we love our parks, but there's a lot of other insistent needs as well. So again, with no plan and no request, that's why I put 0. So I
Interesting, you had a plan when I met with him.
well, I'm not dragging him into it, but he's very anti-political, but
Yep.
that is exactly what I was told. Well,
Okay, so you wanna,
we'll-
you wanna take to 0, you're making a motion, is there a second on that? Pantheon, last year, 2025, they were at 195, this year they're at 150. There, better? Last year, they were 150, I went to a 50. You wanna go back to a 150 for Pantheon. And no, we reached out and we haven't heard anything from Pantheon on a budget.
and when was that? Because I've talked to all their board members, and
That was before, I'll have to go back and look. But anywho,
who did you talk to?
I can't think of her
Drew
name.
Garrettson, the
Nope.
board?
No, Drew called me, thank you. But so you want to go back to 150
We,
and, oh, go ahead, I'm sorry.
yes. that's-
No, I'm just going to say, for me, I believe that we own this building. We should take care of this building. We should maintain this building. We don't want to get into another situation of the poor farm where the building, is deteriorating beyond belief. But I have serious doubts and serious reservations, quite frankly, of the Pantheon. But we can,
Based on your feelings,
based on history, yes,
history.
yes.
What's the history?
Um,
All the people that
I
have,
did have pardon,
Go ahead.
I did have a question about that. I know, I've been doing some research on that, Kelly. I know you've been for the ground floor up on that. how many years was it supposed to be county funded? Was it to where it was a standalone? 'Cause I know that we had-
Economic development will never be standalone. That's why we invest $250,000 every year into our other economic development initiative that is partnered with the Pantheon. This,
Couldn't
we're never g-
KCID and the Pantheon be merged together, or like the Pantheon, since we're using it for office space, like
it's
turned
not
over to
just office
library?
space. It's not just office.
Oh, speaking of your
Oh,
microphone.
okay.
It's not just office space, so, it is much more than that. I know you don't go there and take part in any of the activities, but the mission is not what you perceive it to be. We invested in this, from day one with the knowledge it was to, house a lot of our educational programs. The ag technology programs in it, are incredibly positive across the board. We have multiple businesses in it. We have support near and far for the mission of it, including our, many of our business leaders. I don't think we're gonna fundamentally agree on the mission if you choose not to. We've done the building, the staff, the board, our appointed boards, they've all done audits to try and prove. They let the staff go everyone didn't like. The mission is there, and we have a vast amount of people that are invested in it as well. I don't understand why that cannot be considered.
Do you know what the city's invested in that this year, by chance?
I did not ask Joe. I failed to ask Joe. You're on the board? Are you the attorney for the board?
I've been the attorney for the Pantheon since it started,
That's right.
but I'm a board member this year.
Right, I thought you were a board member.
The city's put in 100,000.
Okay, gotcha.
The city put in one this year, 100, in this budget, this upcoming budget?
Oh, this, for 2027,
Yeah.
I don't know
Okay,
2027. I'm
2027,
saying for
yeah.
2026.
I don't know if you're accepting comments.
No, go ahead.
You on the board as well?
I am a board member.
Okay.
So I didn't come prepared to, give you a presentation, but, Tim, to your comment, and we just had on Monday, yesterday, I guess, my week's already melding together, we had another strategic planning session, and this concept of merging organizations is on the table. I think it'll take us some time. I mean, I don't think that's a decision that we can enter into really quickly, but I just want you to know that that discussion is ongoing. Obviously, it would take the will of both the Pantheon board, and I think we have at least 4 board members that overlap between KCID, maybe 5.
Yeah.
That overlap between the Pantheon board and our organizations. So, I mean, we are pretty closely tied together already. I guess I would just say, and again, I didn't come here to lobby, but I would just say that even if let's say, for example, that receives positive reaction and people want to, explore how that would happen, there'll be a lot of devils in the detail on, how board structure and finances and all that would work. But I can tell you that no one has stood up and said, absolutely not. It's an ongoing conversation, but if I had to guess, it'll probably take the next, 6 to 9 months to figure out if that's something that both boards want to do, and if so, how would we execute that? So I just want you all to know that it is on the table, but
Yeah,
we're
I wasn't
need
gonna
some
ask you
time.
up here, because I didn't know if that was public knowledge or not, so.
No, I mean, it's, we're going through that planning process, but I do want you to know that is being considered. It's not something we've talked about publicly, because it's all just pre-decisional. So these are a lot of what ifs, does it make sense? Is there the will? I know there are some other local officials who share that opinion too, so that, that should be weighed in also. But it is being discussed. And even if it happened tomorrow, I think we would still, from a funding standpoint, be interested in, making sure that can be sustained. The only other thing I want to mention is that I also serve on the hiring committee for a new executive director. And we just had interviews this week, yesterday, and I think we'll be making an offer to someone that I think can really, what I would say is that this person, if they choose to accept the position, I think would be a catalyst for the organization and really take it, scale it up to the next level, beyond what we've seen in the last 5 years. So, that's what I would want to share with you.
So, thank you.
I make a motion, we fund the Pantheon at the budget for 26 to be maintained in 27.
Okay, before we vote on that, just two quick things. Can anybody tell me what a water cup is?
That was really low.
No, it's a serious
She
question.
worked very hard on that, so.
But if you can't tell me what your product is, I go back to, I watched Shark Tank the other night. And would you buy the Pantheon right now as a business? You have a motion on the floor. Is there a second? None hearing. Road projects, 600,000 is in the budget. Went to 600 because the county just passed a wheel tax. The county itself, as a county, should receive about 230,000-ish. That's why we moved it down to 6, excuse me, instead of 750.
In my opinion, there is nothing of greater need of our economy to develop it than our roads and our bridges. Cutting this defeats the spirit of the law of CEDAT, and we may add 230,000, but I can tell you right now, we need 2,300,000 a year to maintain what we have and replace our bad bridges. So cutting road funding is not, in my opinion, the thing to do.
I will agree that we need all the money we can get. However, I disagree fully on you saying that it's against what CEDAT is. We went above and beyond what the state ever required in putting money into this at $750,000 a year.
I didn't say that.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
You said it went against the spirit of CEDAT.
No, I must have
well,
misspoke. The spirit of it is to find ways to grow our economy, and that's why I think we, for many years, have been budgeting this amount for a bridge and roads, and I think we should maintain that. We need the funds to where we're budgeting it for. That's why I'm asking for maintaining it. It's been in here for about 8 years, and I think we should keep it. The more projects that we can do, the better.
Well, it
And
wasn't
we have-
always at 750. I remember when I first came on, it was 5.
And we would do federal projects outside of that.
Yeah, and again, the only reason I thought of going to the 6 is because the council just passed the wheel tax. And so, yeah. Motion on the floor, is there a second? None hearing. Moving on to public safety lit.
I didn't see a submittal from you guys for public safety lit. There are several in here that I would correspond with some of our department heads on. I don't know, I see Teresa here. I'll talk with her after the meeting. The merit board, did you speak with the merit board? Is that?
Yeah, those are typically coming straight from the sheriff's department on the merit board. He's gonna insert those. Same for the 911 stipend, they support those.
Yeah.
That all comes out of the sheriff's department directly, FICA perf, et cetera, et cetera. Longevity the same way, they're all gonna be coming out of the sheriff's department. Those will be submitted by him.
I'll talk to you after the meeting. Okay. So as we are in CEDAT, we are in lit public safety, sitting on millions of dollars of taxes. We have a building ready to be built. I say we start the plan to finalize what we were almost finished with. So I suggest work be done and a solution move towards and put it in the budget. Progress means work. Budget it and let's get the council back on board and finish what should have been
Well,
finished?
as you know, we've talked many a times in this meeting, that we are looking at purchasing, a building and retrofitting that into what our needs are. That will happen probably, the sale of the building will be after the first of the year, according to the state. So for me, I'm not gonna put a price tag on it until we know more. Because I'm not gonna walk into council and say, I want 2.5 million, and it be $1 million.
Well, we have
so-
we have it designed already, so we have estimates that can be very easily reworked. So we're buying a building. Is that like happening? Are we in an agreement for that?
We cannot be in an agreement until it is sold.
Well,
That's the basic rules of law.
we understood. We just have, it's been 1 year and 8 months, and it is time we quit sitting on taxes and spend it as we planned.
Okay. All right, so.
I'm not in favor of it.
Gotcha.
Okay, I make a motion to approve the 2027 budget as amended. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, like sign.
Aye.
Motion carries 2-1.
Aye,
Oh, yeah,
yeah.
you, 2-1. Termination agreement and general release. Drew,
This is a mutual agreement between Knox County and an employee, who was terminated in a separation agreement. We do have non-disclosure clauses within the agreement, that would need to be approved by the commissioners.
yep. I make a motion to approve the termination agreement and release.
I second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, I just have one question.
Yes, ma'am.
I see in the notes that there was a job description referenced in May and June. Is there a job description?
There is one, yeah. It
Okay.
was circulated several months ago.
Just wanted to make sure
Yep.
it's attached to that document that we're voting on. Or here.
Make a motion to approve claims.
Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 3-0. Payroll, make a motion to pay payroll. All in favor, second.
Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Hi, Scott. Tell us what's going on at the Community Corrections Building. You got some problems out there. Got a little water issue.
Well, you're in a floodplain, so there you go. You're in a floodplain. That's what's gonna happen. Turn your mic on, please. There you go.
How's that?
Good.
Okay. When we were in construction, we got in a hurry because we had a water heater that blew and it was gushing out of the side of the old building. So we had to get it in gear. And I think what happened was they hurried on the shower area of where we're at. We've got 8 different shower areas in that facility. Well, one of the primary problems was they 45-degree angled it instead of sloping it when it came down. So you're getting a lot of water that's sitting. So what we had to do is we had to go in and we got a Brad Bilski came in and that's an area that is, it's a specialized trade because of just the complexity of getting the angles right, making sure the water flows. So he's already put one in, and the cost was $5,374. We're paying that out of our budget. This is something that we have to get done. Because the state comes around and they don't play nice sometimes with us because that's just how they are. So we've got that already. We've done the first one and we're getting ready to go in and do the second one. And so.
And those costs are being covered out of your account, right?
Yes.
Yep.
And what he's doing is he's grinding the old epoxy off, re-sloping the floors to the drains, and then applying a 5-inch sand epoxy mixture base. And then he applies 2 coats of industrial epoxy coating. So it's, like I said, he's done one. I said, let's get that one under our belt. We can look at it, we can critique it, make adjustments as needed, because it's just something that had to be done. And that's what we're doing. And I was just wanting to
Right.
make,
Yeah, I just wanted to have you come for us, let us know what's going on out there, and make
Right.
sure that all three of us are up to speed on what's going on. Of course, we know we've had some minor issues, but this is a little bit more than a minor, where we have to go in and actually redo the floor a little bit.
yeah, and I've learned a lot about slopes and a lot more about showers than I ever wanted or thought I would. But when you're talking water damage, it can get,
But it's drained to the drain, okay?
yes, now it is.
Okay, it's
Yeah.
just where it was coming in at that.
Yeah, it was settling in that 45, and then there was some areas that were not sloping into the drain, so we had to get it to slope into the drain to.
Okay.
Because you start getting into mold issues and those type of things.
Just kind of spinning off on that, how's everything else going on out there?
Pretty good. We've got our transportation issue, I think, resolved. We're basically doing what Uber does. They call us and they say, I'm off work and somebody come get me. We get in the Chrysler minivan. I call it a mom van because they don't make those vans anymore. They're all the SUV types. So we get in our Chrysler mom van and go out and get them, and we've got a pickup truck that we use, and we're keeping them off Old Decker Road. I did like hearing that with this apartment development, we're gonna have a sidewalk out there. I don't know if that's gonna resolve all of our problems, but it might take care of a lot of them.
We need
Because
it.
it is putting a burden on our staff. I mean, when you've got 130 people in there, and
Yeah.
all of a sudden somebody needs a ride, so you gotta,
How many you have from Pike?
not a whole lot.
Just a handful still?
Yeah,
Okay, I know the last time we talked, it was minimal.
it's still minimal.
Okay.
We like Pike County. They're easy to work with,
Yeah.
and they're, like I said, they're easy to work with. They've got one prosecutor, one judge. That's makes it so much easier. I'm not criticizing our setup because we work well with ours too, but they're good old boys and over there, and they're just easy to work with.
Okay, great. You guys have any questions about the water issues?
I do not.
Okay. Thank you, Scott. I really do appreciate you coming in and talking to us tonight.
Okay, you're welcome.
Okay. Nothing on code compliance, Ready 2.0. Do you have anything on Ready? Yeah. And hopefully more on 3?
I just realized I didn't introduce myself the few times I've already been up here.
Who are you?
Chris Paff, CEO of KCID, and also local taxpayer, 205 Main Street. So Ready, I just want to mention 3 things. All of our projects from Ready 1 are pretty much closed out. And just as a recap, that included the new sewer extension for the project we were talking about earlier. That was a $1.7 million investment. Actually, it was more than that. The city utilities, that was just over $2 million in sewer infrastructure, not just for that rezoning request, but also for the Seavers Extension neighborhood. So all of those legacy homes in that area are now able to connect to public sewer.
Just on one side though, right? I was talking to some neighbors on the other side of Seavers, and they said that they were told they weren't going to be able to.
I'll have to check that, because I thought it was through the entire neighborhood.
I did too,
Yeah,
but
okay.
they had said that they were told, they had contacted the water department, said that
Yeah.
wasn't gonna be available to them.
I'll need to dig into that. I know Kirk's out for a few days, but I'll
Okay.
dig into that and see. And then the other project is a water line that basically runs a loop through the industrial park over to Essex Road. That was a $1.4 million grant from Ready One. And then the hospital project, expanding the simulation center at the hospital, that was done months ago. And we were able to help the hospital expand that health careers area there. So that pretty much wraps up Ready One. All of those funds have to be drawn down within the next couple of months, and I think we've got one disbursement left, and then we'll be closed out on Ready One. Ready Two, we have 4 projects. 3 of them are housing related, and one is what I would describe as like infrastructure for commercial development. So those include Beer House Flats, which we know is already underway. Firehouse Flats, which is coming up. There's some public meetings about that project here just next week. And then Broadway Place, that's a Sure Clean development off of Broadway. And then Kimmel Road, to include some infrastructure improvements out there for future commercial development. So those are our 4 Ready 2 projects. I do want to point out too that on the Firehouse Flats project, in addition to the Ready 2 funds, we received some Lilly Endowment blight mitigation dollars, and the grand total between Ready 2 and what they call LEI, which stands for Lilly Endowment Inc., is $6.8 million for Knox County, which is the highest amount of funds within our region, because we've got so many, I think, high-quality projects to put the money into. So that far exceeds the original amount in Ready 1, so that's for Ready 2. Last thing I want to mention is that we're hearing indications from the IDC, talked with the new Secretary of Commerce last week up in Fishers, and I don't know if the governor has mentioned this, but the administration will be, I believe, lobbying for a Ready 3 round. And if that gets included in the state budget next year during the budget session, then you could look toward probably the end of 28, early 29 for Ready 3.0 to come online for new projects. So we'll be reorganizing and looking for developers and projects here again in the future, if that happens.
If you were to grab your crystal ball and 3 does happen, what do you think we would want to look at?
Well, one thing that I think you and I spoke about recently was the fact that during our strategic planning process, organizing a county-wide housing task force.
Yes.
And working with the smaller communities outside of Vincennes is an interest. I know Bicknell and the mayor up there has, just single-handedly, I think they've got 20 to 22 new homes built just by going out and offering infill lots in the city to developers or house builders, basically. And so the mayor has been able to leverage those lots that ended up in city hands, and now there's 22 new homes on the tax rolls in Bicknell. So working with, and again, this is conceptual, but working with the other communities around the county and understanding what they want in terms of housing development, and then identifying projects that we could put some future state grant money into, I think would be helpful. So beyond that, I think we need to get our steering committee back together and really explore what I think the priorities would be. And by that time, our strategic plan should be completed. So there may be things there that we want to do as well. I don't know.
Great.
So, but that's all I've got for Ready.
Thank you.
Thank
Appreciate your update as always.
Thanks.
I don't have anything further on the EOC building or the Judicial Center. So we'll roll into, unless anyone else has anything. Public comment under Resolution 2020-2. If anyone has anything germane to tonight's meeting. If not, our next meeting is going to be September the 1st at 10 a.m. here at City Hall. If anyone else has anything else, I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
We are adjourned. Thank you, everybody.
Mine's blinking.